Hello everybody out there, it's Glenn Bean again, once again coming back with a fantastic story, an unusual story really. It's about a young man and his journey through life and his relationship with his mother. Often we talk about a father's relationship with a son and how that shapes and impacts his life. Very rarely do we talk about how a mother's love, communication, and relationship with her son really does formulate or develop him as a young man. And we're going to go there today. I'm here with Jamal Morris.
Correct.
Jamal, we're in your barbershop. This is your barbershop,
Yes,
right?
sir.
Okay, well, tell me about what you're doing today.
What I'm doing today is, like I say, owner of a barbershop / salon, Fly Nerds Chop Shop, as well as we got Fly Nerds, the clothing line, apparel. We're joining both businesses together to
Fly Nerds.
Fly Nerds, yes, sir.
That's the name of
Fly Nerds. That's
the name of the barbershop.
The barbershop and the name of the company. I mean, the name of the barbershop as well as our clothing line. And what we're branding is it cool to be smart. You are Fly Nerd yourself.
I think so.
Yes.
You're a successful young man,
Yes.
and having a clothing line and a barbershop. Would you not agree?
Yes.
But was that journey an easy journey?
Oh no, and we're still on that journey right now to our greatness.
Okay. Well, let's talk about your childhood.
Okay.
And how that has either did it assist you to become a successful individual?
Yes, I think it did. I think it did. I did go through some rough times here and there, but I think those times actually helped shape and mold the person I've become today with some of the ethics that I grew up with at a younger age. I think it just, like I said, it molded me. I had to do it quite a bit. I was very, let me see what's the word I would like to use, responsible at a young age. But I think that responsibility has helped me to get to where I'm at, especially when I look at a lot of my peers right now, some of the individuals I went to college with, I've grown up with, especially since I've been here in Atlanta. I think it's made a difference, a great difference.
Yeah. This show is about a relationship between mother and son.
Correct.
And often we talk about relationships, the roles that a father should have with his son.
Mm-hmm.
And very rarely do we speak openly and candidly about what type of relationship a mother can have with the son. Mm-hmm. Because a mother can actually be a positive relationship, mm-hmm. and it can certainly be a great support, mm-hmm. in formulating the young man. And sometimes, just like fathers, mothers sometimes can also provide painful experiences, yes. to their children. And from what I gather, you were one of those kids.
I was a single child at first. My mother and my father, they didn't stay together too long, maybe a couple of years. And I had a sister from my dad about 4 years after I was born, and that actually went pretty well. That was one of my siblings that I actually had the closest connection with at a young age. We growed up, really were tight and connected. Now with my mother, she had another daughter about 5 years later. And when that came along, that kind of changed the dynamics of our family some. And that changed the dynamics because around 6 or 7, my mom upped and decided to leave and move to Florida. So my father stayed in New York, and my mom decided to change her life, change our life, and move down to Orlando, Florida. Well, a small place called Winter Garden, Tillmanville, Florida.
What did the split do to you as a child?
The split did a lot because I wanted to be with my father. It was major for me because it was a drastic change coming from city life going to country life. My grandmother's home was on bricks. You know, she got a shotgun home, dirt roads. And my grandmother particularly wasn't the coolest grandmother, you know, and it was really my first time spending time with her, actually.
But for you somewhat suffered from child neglect.
Child neglect, you know, a little favoritism, verbal. You know, my mom wasn't quite the saint that she is today, so, you know, beforehand, my mom would cuss you out like a sailor. You know, her words hurt. Cut like knives at times.
Words are things.
Yes.
You know, and when you drop a word into the spirit of someone, that can easily take root, yes. And it takes root more so in children,
yes, it does,
than adults. But let's start with the child neglect first.
All right.
Give us some very real instances where you felt as though you were neglected.
It was a big change. I wanted to live with my father, but that just wasn't an option. And I think a lot of the big reason to that, I was a great help to my mother, and she needed me, I think, you know, and couldn't really afford to kind of let me go because I helped have her back with my sister at times while she was trying to get herself established. So there the abuse kind of came more on the verbal side, and to give examples, like I just say mainly for me a lot was babysitting. There's a lot of my freedom as a child was taken. Where I wasn't able to just live.
Did they make you feel as though you were the man of the house?
Yes, it did.
And that's damaging. Then as a child, you should never tell a child or male child that he's the man of the house. A child is not to take on that type of responsibility, right. Because when things begin to fall apart and fail, he begins to feel as though it's his responsibility. But you had to babysit your sister. And what other responsibilities did you have?
I remember being home from a young age, single digits, having to be home by myself and take care of myself a lot while my mom was at work. This is
at
from
7, 8.
Yeah, so from first grade when I was when we did move to Orlando from Winter Garden. When I was in first grade, we had to walk quite a few miles to school. Actually, I've done been in situations we walked along this path, we found dead bodies. Been around drugs. Friends and brothers selling drugs, and we've been around a lot. I've been around a lot. My mom said recently that she never did homework with me. Jamel used to teach me his work, but we never had that one-on-one to do homework. I didn't do much homework with anybody or myself, through elementary through high school. I was pretty smart actually, but I ended up losing that desire and that drive that I had because I wasn't challenged.
Was it then actual child neglect, or was your mother just doing the best she could?
Sometimes she was doing the best she could, but she can only do as much as she knows herself, and she was, what can I say, what she was subjected to with her parents. My father's, I didn't see him that much, but my father was a talker. He talked to me a lot, and even I had a thing for my dad where I knew that he loved me, even though he may have told me a lie here and there. But he showed his concern through phone calls mainly, and I saw him every summer once we moved.
He told a lie here and there. What kind of lies did he? No, he told you lies. Or
Yeah, he would tell my mom, or he would miss, dealing with support payments, or even with me with gifts or things that he made, he said he would do. It wasn't always met in the time that he said he would do it, and sometimes it didn't fall through at all. But most of the time my dad came through, and he was still kind of.
Why do I hear that? You're giving your dad a pass ticket, and not so much your mom.
Well, the reason why I say that because he helped me out a lot. He listened to me, even though he did his thing at times, and I feel my dad. I wish he would have fought for me a little more. For me to come stay with him, to live with him, so I can get that more of a male perspective. But I still had to. I just knew that he loved me. I felt his love. I don't know no other way to say it. Even though he did his thing at times too to hurt me. I got a lot of pain from my father as well. But I was able to feel his love at times a lot more than my mother.
Times have changed. We have evolved as a people, and I think we've grown and we've matured as a community at large, particularly in the African American community at large. We have matured in understanding that there are no boundaries to love and nurturing of the children, and whatever we say or do impacts that child.
Correct.
And if you call a child crazy, stupid, that's a seed that you're planting into that
child.
child.
They stick with you.
And it sticks with you. And then when the child becomes a teenager and they're out in the streets acting crazy and stupid, that's because you told them they were crazy and stupid to begin with. They become what you speak. Stop calling those children crazy and stupid. And then they act crazy and stupid, then you're wondering why.
Yeah. I don't like any drama. I don't like no screaming or nothing. So, and sure, I've had a lot of short relationships. I haven't had many relationships or many long-term relationships with women. They're usually short.
Is that a result of your childhood?
I definitely feel it's a result of my childhood. Because I think in some ways I know how to deal with a woman, but then I don't. And if it's not the part on me dealing with a woman, it's what I accept from a woman. And because I got a lot of screaming, hollering, fussing from my mom, I don't tolerate none of that. I run from that actually.
It's so important, we as adults, on how we treat our children. Words do matter. You shape minds and hearts and souls that way. And be careful of what you say to your son and your daughter. Those words take shape and form. And they actually grow up to reflect exactly the image that you portrayed to them in their childhood. So let's do the best we can to shape the healthiest minds that we can possibly shape, so that they could become productive citizens as an adult and become the best parents that they can possibly be. So thank you so much once again for watching Real Talk 2. It's Glenn.